It's impressive how we got to this point. A leader who once seemed invincible now faces criticism from all sides, and not just from his political opponents. The frustration of citizens is felt in every corner, and it is not just about partisan debates. It's a real cry for solutions that address everyday problems. How can a government justify decisions that affect millions of families while appearing disconnected from their realities? Inflation continues to hit pocketbooks, living costs are skyrocketing, and promises feel like empty words that never end up being fulfilled. When even international figures like Elon Musk chime in with direct criticism, the impact cannot be ignored. It is not just a loose comment, it is an amplified echo of collective fatigue. And the most ironic thing is that, instead of uniting the country with his leadership, it seems that Trudeau has managed to unite his critics against him. Discontent does not come out of nowhere. Every unpopular policy, every diplomatic mistake, and every lack of empathy with the daily struggles of citizens adds to discouragement. How much longer can a leadership that seems more focused on its image than on solving the real problems resist? The question that remains is simple, but powerful. How long will people be willing to wait for change? Perhaps what we're seeing now is just the beginning of a wake-up call that Trudeau won't be able to ignore. The weight of miscalculated decisions is beginning to fall, and there is no discourse that manages to hide it. Patience has a limit, and it seems that this limit has already been reached for many. What does it mean to lead if you don't have the ability to connect with the most urgent needs of the people? Canada is a country that has always had a reputation for stability and progress, but that image is rapidly eroding. Families feel the direct impact of policies that seem to be made from an ivory tower, far from the reality of those who struggle to make ends meet. The economy is not fixed with nice words, and climate change is not only tackled with taxes that overburden households. The question is, why not address these issues in ways that benefit everyone, rather than further divide an already fatigued population? And then there is the international stage, where Trudeau has gone from being a symbol of modernity to an example of how not to handle diplomacy. What leader allows his foreign relations to become a focus of tensions without a clear strategy to solve them? Canadians are not only waiting for a representative at home, but also someone who projects strength and consistency abroad. The pressure is mounting, and every day it seems that the options for reversing this scenario are shrinking. If elections are an opportunity to correct course, will this be the moment when citizens decide that enough is enough? Will this be the breaking point where unfulfilled promises no longer have room for the benefit of the doubt? The clock is ticking, and every action counts. What Trudeau does or doesn't do in the coming months could define not only his political future, but also the path Canada will take in the years to come. Most worryingly, as confidence in leadership crumbles, the cost is not just on the Trudeau government. It is the entire nation that feels the weight of this uncertainty. Citizens are tired of feeling that their voices are not heard, of seeing how their concerns are buried under endless excuses and empty promises. Where is the leadership that inspires? Where are the concrete solutions, the plans that are not only announced with big headlines, but are executed with tangible results? Clearly, the Canadian people are not asking for magic or perfection, but they are demanding something fundamental. A government that connects with their needs, acts with transparency, and prioritizes people over politics. And this is where Trudeau seems to have lost his way. Climate policies that should be a breakthrough have ended up alienating key sectors, from working families to small businesses. Diplomatic tensions that could have been handled tactfully and firmly have led to unnecessary friction. All of this contributes to the sense that Canada, under this leadership, is stuck in a cycle of repeated mistakes. When figures like Elon Musk enter the conversation, it's not simply because of the impact of his words. It is because they are putting into words what many already feel. It is not just criticism, but a reflection of the accumulated frustration, that which is found at kitchen tables, in family debates and in comments on social networks. The public's reaction is not trivial. Every meme, every viral comment is a reminder that leaders can't afford to lose the pulse of society. Patience is running out, and with it, the willingness to continue accepting excuses and failed strategies. The next election will not just be a moment of decision. It will be a trial, a judgment on leadership, policies, and above all, on the ability of a government to truly represent its people. And if one thing is clear, it is that Canadians are ready to issue that verdict. When a leader loses connection with his people, the result is inevitable. Trust turns to disenchantment, and disenchantment to rejection. Justin Trudeau, a figure who once symbolized hope and modernity, now appears to be sailing a ship full of cracks, trying to keep it afloat in a sea of mounting criticism and challenges. The problem is not only the lack of solutions, but the perception that there is no genuine effort to find them. Every press conference, every official statement feels more like an attempt to justify mistakes than a show of determined leadership. Canadians don't need embellished speeches. They need real answers, tangible actions, and a government that puts them at the center of the conversation. Meanwhile, the opposition is wasting no time. Pierre Poilievre and his direct message about economic problems resonates with those who feel that it is increasingly difficult to maintain their homes and families. Jagmeet Singh, with his focus on social inequality, touches a sensitive nerve in a population that sees economic gaps grow. And Maxime Bernier, while more polarizing, raises uncomfortable questions about Canada's future in an increasingly competitive world. But perhaps the most striking thing is not what opponents say, but what Trudeau himself fails to counteract. The narrative of a disconnected leader, trapped in a bubble of ideals that are not reflected in the daily lives of citizens, continues to gain strength. How can we defend policies that have not improved the lives of those who need it most? How do you deal with international criticism when Canadians themselves question your ability to lead? The time for excuses is running out. Every day that passes without significant change is just another day in which citizens lose faith that the government can redirect the course. And while Trudeau could try to make up ground with new proposals, the damage seems to have been done. For many, his words no longer carry the weight they once did, and his promises are seen as mere political tactics. It's a watershed moment not just for Trudeau, but for Canada. The nation is at a crossroads, and the question is whether it will choose to follow the same path or seek radical change. The election will not simply be a vote. It will be a declaration of principles, a collective cry of a citizenry that wants to be heard and respected. And if one thing is certain, it is that Canadians are not willing to wait forever for that change. The question that many are asking now is, how did Justin Trudeau get to this point? How did it go from being a symbol of progress and change to becoming the focus of criticism that does not cease? Perhaps it is because the weight of their decisions has ceased to be felt as policies for the people, and more as measures imposed from an ivory tower. Canadians are demanding more than recycled promises and bombastic headlines. They want leadership with substance, not spectacle. But every time Trudeau stands in front of the cameras, he seems more concerned with defending his image than offering concrete solutions. It's as if he doesn't understand that behind every statistic he mentions, there are real people facing real problems. And that is the core of discontent, disconnection. It is not just about economics or foreign policy. It's about the feeling that his decisions don't reflect the concerns of those who elected him. From farmers battling ever higher taxes to young people seeing their dreams of home ownership fade away, the message is clear: you're not listening to us. Meanwhile, the world watches. The comments of figures such as Elon Musk, although they may seem only external opinions, carry a special weight because they resonate with a global sentiment. Trudeau is no longer just facing domestic criticism. He is now seen internationally as a leader who lost control of his narrative. It is ironic that his leadership, which was once presented as inclusive and modern, is now so fractured. Canadians expected more than just a traditional politician. They expected a leader who would transform words into actions, who would face challenges with courage, and who would prioritize the country's well-being over his personal legacy. But time does not wait, and the time to act is running out. Every day that Trudeau lets go by without responding to the clamor for change is one more day that strengthens his opponents. And in such a polarized political climate, there is no room for indecision. The upcoming election is shaping up to be a referendum not only on Trudeau, but on what Canada wants for its future. Will citizens continue to choose a path that they feel no longer works? Or will they decide it's time for new leadership that truly reflects their values and needs? The only thing that is certain is that this time Canadians will not settle for less.